Hello YouTube. I'm doing a video on the spell card. Pot of Greed. One of the most popular cards in the anime. When Yugi played it, the anime this is one of the most popular cards. It lets you draw 2 cards. And I'm going to do a video basically saying why this card should be unbanned. Me personally, I think the card should be unbanned. It should come back to limited to 1. So basically, Pot of Greed is just a +1. Literally just a +1. You play it, and every deck can play it. I mean, there's nothing that's limiting about it. You just play it. Every deck can play it, and +1 from it. So basically, you know, some people say that it's too broken because it's played with no effort or skill. You just play the card and you draw 2 cards. It just says, this is the older print of the card. It says, draw 2 cards from your deck. The new ones just say, draw 2 cards. Has the smallest print, text in the game. But I think it should come back. It's just drawing 2 cards, which is just really just a +1. And it's a costless +1, and plus, I mean, it's the same thing as Regeki, Dark Hole, or even MST. All these cards right here, you play them with no cost. I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference between those and Pot of Greed? You play them just the same way. This, you basically make the person minus. It's like a 1-for-1. You minus and they minus. This, they can minus more than maybe up to 5 cards. -5, up to 5. Same thing with this. While you just -1 when you play them. But they all can be played with no cost. That's the difference. That's what they are. But they're not considered broken cards. Regeki, Dark Hole, and MST. They're not broken cards. You can even play this at 3. This card is a necessity. It has to be used in the deck, or you just lose. These cards right here are not being played as much anymore. Everyone was making a big fuss about this card being unbanned. It hasn't done a single thing in the game yet. It hasn't done anything. No, meta decks are not even using it. They're citing the card. So these cards can make the opponent minus, while this will make you +1. But how much can a +1 do for you? It can't really do that much. Say if it was limited, if they bring back Pot of Greed, it'll be used in all the top tier decks, like the Clifford, Burning Abyss, Shadal, and Satella Knights. I mean, it's gonna benefit. Every deck will benefit from it. You know, the rogue decks, whatever rogue decks like UA, Yangzing, whatever other Monarchs, whatever decks that are rogue decks that do play somewhat good against the meta. They can use this card. Other decks can use it. Troll decks will use this card. So it's just a +1, and you get 1 extra random card from your deck. 2 extra random cards, which makes it just a +1. Because you're regaining the card you use, because this card will go to the graveyard, and then you add 1 extra card from your deck. This card being top decked is not going to make you win a duel. Now, these cards being top decked can make you win a duel. You remember the old card? I played the spell card, Monster Reborn. There's a reason why this card's banned. Because if this card's top deck, which is another card just like the rest of the ones I just talked about that can be played with no cost. This card can if you top deck it, you can win the duel. This cannot, if you top deck it, it's not going to make you win any duel. All it does is draw 2 cards. I mean, all those decks, Cliff Ford, Burning Abyss, Shaddoll, Satella Knights, all those decks +3 every single turn. And basically, it's not going to help you win a duel. I mean, they just one extra +1 is not going to help them win the duel. If they were gonna win the duel, even if they didn't have Pot of Greed, they would still win the duel. If they were going to win, Pot of Greed is not going to help them win the duel. It's just a +1. They're already plussing more than 2 times a duel. All 3 of those decks are 4 of those decks. So one little +1 is not going to help them win the duel. Me personally, I don't think Pot of Greed is going to make a big impact in the game. The meta, I mean, the same thing that happened with Regeki and Glow Bulb is going to pretty much be the same thing with Pot of Greed. I mean, the meta, rogue decks, troll decks, they're not going to gain that much. I mean, Regeki Global haven't done anything since they came off the ban list. And I think the same thing is going to happen with Pot of Greed. It's just a +1. People are so afraid that, oh, this card is so broken, it can be used over and over. Magician of Faith can be used in Shaddolls and this and that. Reuse all the cards, reuse cards over and over. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a +1. I mean, if they unban the card and make it limited, I mean, I think they should limit, unban the card, Pot of Greed, unban this card, and make it limited for at least 1 format, just to test it. I mean, if it's too broken after they unban it, then just ban it again. So many people are afraid of decks like those Nurse Burn decks and what's it called? Exodia FTKs and all that, using that Royal Magical Library thing, just to keep on plussing and drawing cards and stuff. I mean, if those decks plus keep gaining advantage because of this card, then they should limit some cards in those decks, or ban some cards, because those decks are troll decks. Exodia and Nurse Burn are troll decks. Any burn deck are troll decks. The other deck that they just destroyed basically was Final Countdown. They limited that card to 1. If that's the case, if those decks rise in power just because of Pot of Greed, they need to limit those decks. Those decks are not good for this game anyway. If they don't do anything to those decks, reban Pot of Greed. So thanks for watching. This is my take on Pot of Greed. I think it should come back, at least from 1 format, and at least test it. If it's too broken, just ban it again. Thanks for watching. Like, rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks.